Hello everybody, welcome to the show. I'm calling this a mystery unboxing because I'm not 100% sure. I think it's a reel, but it could be bass lures. I've ordered like, I don't know. I've ordered a bunch. I have like over 30 things still coming. A lot of small lures. If you guys have been following along on AliExpress, I've got coming from AliExpress, from just individuals, and from eBay. So up, it is a reel. That's what I was going to say. I thought it felt too heavy to be any kind of, Corrado DC 150 HG. Oh yes. Now this baby, I think, is going to have just a few scratches. I'm not sure. I couldn't make out 100% in the pictures. Anybody knows me, my eyesight isn't what it used to be. So anyway, this I picked up because I do like, hang on, don't go anywhere. I do like the frames on these. They are actually palm, not too bad, like almost perfect. They could be a little bit right here, just a touch lower, kind of like the Metanium, but I do like the way these feel. They look big when you're looking at them, even at the store or online. This gearbox, and you guys have maybe that really know me know that I actually talked about the gearbox on the Abu Garcia. The Revos, the Generation 3, had this crazy gearbox that bothered me, and I was a big Revo fan back then with the Gen 2 until the Gen 3 came out, and I'm like, nah, I got rid of everything and went with Daiwa. So anyway, a little history. But this reel, I do like. I've got a Scorpion coming, and I had posted up on, if you guys don't know about Tackle Tour and Bass Boat Central, I posted up on their forums and like for sale threads about wanting to pick up a Scorpion, a Corrado DC, or whatever. I was going to see what kind of deals popped up. So luckily a member says, hey, I got one that's got some scratches on it. You can see he had the box and all, still got the reel oil unopened. Like I don't think anybody uses Shimano reel oil. That's why Daiwa, I don't think even bothers to put reel oil in theirs. Anybody that I think takes time to oil their reels buys like a higher end oil. So let's see, it's got some scratches on top. Let's find out. You guys are seeing it right now, the same as me, and that is not too bad. Can you guys make that out? Scratches is the reason I bought this one for a deal. You guys hear that whine? DC, baby. I've never tried a DC reel. So we're going to find out. Wow, this thing, holy cow. This thing is like way smoother of a reel than this thing. Now, this is brand new. I've yet to actually go out and fish it. I've been sitting here, working around. But Shimano's notorious for putting too much oil on their reels. That's why in the store they kind of feel not as free as like a Daiwa. This thing I think's been fished for about a year, is what he said. He had about a season, and it just feels awesome compared to this reel, which I'm sure this one will kick in and feel that way too. But yeah, look at that. So let's look at it real good. And I've got my glasses on, and I still can't tell you exactly if there were any real fine scratches on it or not. It looks like just right there, which that's nothing. That's kind of course, from laying it upside down in your boat, it rattles around. I mean, that's a no-no, guys. If okay, I don't know what happened with that. I get horrible service, I guess. So anyway, I don't even know what I was talking about, but I picked this one up. This is brand new. I've, of course, done the single lifestyle on it already. Haven't fished it yet. Picked this one up. We were looking at scratches. So there's one little gouge right there, and then a few little minor scratches right here. This side looks fine. Perfectly fine for me to use if I really like this reel. I'll find out if I like DC or not. So, Oh, I know what I was talking about when I was rudely interrupted. If you guys plan on keeping your reels and want them looking nice, do the sock cover thing on your combos while you're out there fishing it. Just slide the sock over it, even if you're just throwing it down the boat to grab another one. I know I'm bad about not doing it either. You see me, though, I lay mine out in front of me. I try to keep the reels floating and not touching that boat, because your weight goes down. Next thing you know, that's dragging on carpet or little sharp spots on your deck and gets jacked up. Then when you go to resell these, you can't get as much as you would have if you want to change. Say your guy wants to change every year, every couple years, and try something different, or just get the same thing, have new fresh gear. The value goes way down, because I will tell you how much I gave for this. I gave $160 shipped for this reel, and what they sell for $269 or $79 new. It honestly feels better than the new ones I've been at the store, and it's smoother because it's kind of broke in. It's another thing with a good high quality reel. You'll see me testing these reels coming from AliExpress. If they got a carbon frame, they're probably only going to start getting more slop and wallering out as the years go on. I don't know how many years they last. Shimano and Daiwa reels, and Abu Garcia for that matter, some people argue that, possibly losing quantum. The high-end stuff that's got the good tolerances and aluminum or magnesium frame should be able to get decades of use if you take care of your gear. Well, even sometimes if you don't. I think my cousin has reels he's had about 10 years, never torn them apart and oiled them, and my son I know has some for 4 or 5 years or more. Never been clean, still work good. But they were higher end stuff. So anyway, it's a little dirty. If you guys got any questions about, I guess, why I switch, why I'm going with Shimano's, why I'm going with these kind of reels, drop them below. I'll tell you real quick as I'll answer that question I just came up with. Now that I know what rods I'm using a whole line of rods. I'm using the Cayenne Conquerors. I know the length, what they weigh, and I know the balance on them. So what I'm trying to do is get a close to balance with the size reel that fits. So of course they're still small. It's hard to call them big reels. These bigger reels, because I have the Aldebaran and the Metaniums, are going to go on the bigger rods. They should almost balance out, and I'll have a video coming out showing you that, how I do the final balance of rod. Because when you're holding that, you actually want, when you're holding, I palm the reel, and even if you're using reaction baits, but definitely if you're using bottom bouncing like shaky head, jigs on bottom, Texas rigged worms, anything to where you're just sitting there and your rod tip's kind of pointing, up, you almost want it either evenly balanced or sometimes even a little weight back, to where, for me anyway, I feel it lets me even feel a bite quicker if it's got that perfect balance to it. So the 6'6", 6'7", and 6'10" heavy that I got coming are probably going with the Corrados, and I got the Scorpion coming. But the Scorpion actually is a MGL. I may put it on the, I'm thinking I might try it anyway on the 6'8" medium light. And if I like it on it, I'm going to need either another one of these, or I'm thinking about getting a Bantam or something else to put on the other reels. And I'm thinking that, I don't know. What do you guys think? Now this one, here's my highest gear ratio. It is 8.5. This is 7.4. This is XG, HG. I'm thinking I'm going to want this one on the rod that I plan on making longer casts, like say with the crankbait, or possibly even, the rattle traps. I'll make that, what I call take it downtown. Send it out there as far as I can and come back. That would probably be a good one for that. This one probably on what I'm going to, I guess maybe like my frog, jig, something where I'm throwing it out there in one spot, working it for 3 to 5 feet, and then I want to reel it in quick. That's where you want your higher speed reels at. If you're working smaller crankbaits or crankbaits, even chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, a lot of times you don't really need that fast when you kind of want something that you can get a good steady pace going with. So I'll just have to see where they fit. I think the Scorpion I have coming is also an XG, and that it would work on the 6.8 because I plan on 6.8. I plan on using it for shaky heads, small quarter ounce and smaller bottom contact stuff. The 6.5 I plan on using for the little square bills. Still not even sure exactly where the 661 Cayenne Teton's going to fit in now. It'll probably also be for the smaller cranks. And then the other two, my smallest Cayenne Tetons, they're going to be pretty much strictly for crappie jigs. I'm going to try the 6.5 and the 6.8 out with top waters. But if I'm not having as much fun as I did with the 6.32, if you guys remember right, I kept throwing that Megabass Pop X and was just, well, first of all, I was just catching them. It like that, for whatever reason, that rod with the softness of it just lets that little Pop X walk the dog and pop so good. It just like lets it work better than I could work it when I had it on a heavier rod throwing it. So anyway, that's another thing. I got all this new stuff. I've only fished I've cast almost all the rods, but I've only actually caught fish on the 6.8. I got those videos coming out with the little Digit crankbait. You guys remember that video? The Digit's not made anymore. I'm trying to find another replacement for it so I can point you guys in a direction if you want to get some square bills that are what I consider go-to. The Digit, it can still be found here and there, but it's very scarce. Luckily, I have about 9 or 10 of them. So, a whole new learning going on this season coming up. Hopefully I like the Shimano reels. Trust me, if I don't like these, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to list them for sale, and we'll try something else. The reason I went away from the smaller Abu Garcias, for one reason, nobody seems to run them around any of the forums I'm on. I don't know, Abu Garcia is kind of like an outcast here in the States nowadays for whatever reason. A few guys still do it. Die hard Abu for life guys, but the reason I am trying Shimano's, I've always kind of wanted just a whole line of Shimano's. I've had an occasional one here, there. We do call them Shitmanos when, I had Daiwas. I couldn't help it. But Shimano, I've always said, has a very quality, clean-built reel. The Daiwas, though, up until the Tatula phase, Chris, you know what I'm talking about. They kind of killed it for me. The Tatulas came out, the first batch, I did not like at all. They were overbuilt as far as they were too big. I just didn't like them. I actually had issues with my Type R's. The line guide on one kept bunching up on one side, and the mechanism to release it, the clutch, would stick on the other one. And which I took the sticking one apart, cleaned. I don't even know what I cleaned. I just kind of cleaned the gunk off of it from the factory, and then it kind of cleared up. But the one with the line, it always bunched just a hair. So the CTs came out, Tatulas. I was like, all right, I got one of each. I got the R and the standard one. And I fished them for part of a season, just I didn't like them. So it's a possibility the same thing will happen with these, but I'm hoping not. I do like the looks. These new reels just have that, I don't know, it's kind of like a crossbreed look. They kind of have a Metanium look, kind of an Aldebaran, kind of an old school look too, like some of the old Shimano reels. They look good. And the Bantam looks real good too. I honestly don't like anything that the Daiwa factory's putting out. And definitely don't like anything new that Megabass has to work with, is basically the Tatula type stuff, and they're not, I don't know. So I'm out. It's definitely expensive, so I'm out. Shimano's are fairly, priced, especially just start checking around if you want. If you can't afford a new one, trust me, you can find a used one somewhere. You can go on eBay if nothing else and find some scratched up. I'm sure they work just fine. If you don't care, about some scratches, you're just using it as a tool. I kind of use them as a, the reel, the bait casting reel is one of the main, I don't know, I just have a thing about working on them, tuning them a little bit more. I don't know a ton about them, but I mean, I can tear one apart, get it back together, put the clicking drag. That's another thing. None of these have that, and once I start ordering that, that's going to be a couple $100 probably right there, just to make sure. I want all my reels to have that. When that line's being pulled, I want it to click. That's something I got used to. Same thing with the single lifestyle handle. It's something you guys would have to try, but once I started doing that, I want all my reels to have that clicking drag, and I like the single lifestyle handle. Some people will argue you need that other handle. You don't need that there. If anything, when you're fighting a fish, I always tend to stop back here no matter what I'm doing. I come back and I use this to help pull, so I can always reach up real quick and go whichever way with that drag without that other one in the way. And then when I cast, I always tend to just reel up to here, then hit my button. And so when I cast, I don't have any issues with this wanting to engage. A lot of people, if you do this, because that's the biggest question people ask me, and yes, it can happen. If you tend to stop way up here, which I don't know why you would, and then you push your button and cast, and when you throw, a hard cast, yes, this can engage the reel. It'll make some noises. Trust me, not good on the gears. Doesn't kill it. I've seen, well, Olivia did it several times with the Daiwa she was using. That's another thing, Daiwa clutches, especially in the older reels, which are super smooth and work awesome, but if you have this handle like this, they will engage easier than the Shimano's or the Abu Garcias. And of course, I watched my son, he did it several times. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, stop it down at the bottom. Because I never have an issue. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. Like I said, I tend to, everything I do as I'm reeling, whether I'm just casting and reeling it in and twitching or whatever, I tend to stop here. Then if I get a bite, I actually use both hands. You know, I set the hook and I pull kind of with this one. That's where you wonder why some guys bend handles on aluminum ones. That's what they're doing. They're actually using both hands when they set a hook or when they're fighting a fish. You know, they don't just pull with the left and then reel with that one. They're kind of using both when they maneuver, is where that happens. So anyway, I'm out of here. This video is way too long. Hopefully you got stuck all together. And most of mine always end up being about 20-minute videos. So if you guys have any questions about what so far I think about these reels or anything to do with the channel, let me know. Alright, I'm out of here. Hit that like button. I know you like the channel. I don't know if you like this video or not. Let me also know if you guys like these live videos or not. Nobody really ever jumps on here and starts asking questions, but they're there. They're floating around. You guys get to watch them. Alright, thanks for watching. Get out of here. Go bass and bonsai somewhere else. See ya. Jason Stein. Bye-bye. Bye, Jason. The only person watching, I guess, or commenting. Where's Maggie at? Oh, she's waiting for a bonsai video. If you happen to be a bonsai guy and are watching this, God love you. Anyway, bonsais are coming, I promise. This season coming up, once we get past, we haven't even really got into freezing weather yet. It just keeps lingering around. Once we get to where it's spring, there shouldn't be any more freezing weather. I'm going shopping, going to get some more bushes to turn into trees. So buckle up and hang on. Winter's here.